All right. Hello, everyone. It is time to kick off today's Welcome Home Luncheon with the VIP reception presented by Trustar Bank. So I want to say welcome to everyone. I am GeNienne Samuels, your in-game host for the Washington football team, co-host of the WOW Show, Women of Washington Show, and an 8-year captain and Pro Bowl alumni cheerleader for the First Ladies of Football. So just like you, burgundy and gold are definitely in my DNA. Now, as you all know, the main reason that we are here today together is because we are raising much needed funding for the programs of the Washington football team charitable foundation. Our event sponsors are key to achieving that goal. So I would like to first recognize Trustar Bank for supporting this year's event as the VIP reception sponsor. So thank you so much to Trustar Bank. Now, I am excited to kick things off with a man who literally needs no introduction at all. As you can see on your screen, Brian Mitchell is here with us today. He is a Washington football team alumni of 10 amazing seasons from 1990 to 99, Super Bowl 26 champion, greatest, and is a Ring of Fame member. Brian, thank you so much for being with us today. I had the opportunity to cheer for you 1 year on the sidelines. It was an amazing first year for me, last year for you, but it is wonderful always seeing you again.
Well, GeNienne, thank you for having me here. And also, I'm happy to be here with the team and the Washington Football Charitable Foundation's most loyal fans and supporters. Thank you all for taking the time today to help us raise some funds for the Washington Football Charitable Foundation's work across the region. The work can't be done without each of you, especially people like Trustar Bank, Paisanos, and the Foundation Leadership Council members who have helped level the playing field. And I think that's the great thing about what you all do. You level the playing field for the people in this area so they can have the opportunities just like every one of us have. So we have a lot in store for you today. So sit back and let's get started.
Yeah, definitely. And you're right. There's so much coming, but let's just kick things off with a little bit of football talk, right? I know everyone is super excited for this weekend. I know I am, cannot wait. And technically things really get kicked off Thursday, but for us, it's all about Washington football team playing ball this weekend. What is your take on us heading into the 2020 season?
Well, I've been a person who I always care about accountability. And I think, ever since Ron Rivera was hired, I've been excited and enthusiastic about this season coming up because I just believe that athletes are those that want to be coached. And now they have a coaching staff that really wants to go out there and coach them. So I think we're going to see a total difference in this team from last year to this year. And then this is going to be something that they're building. They're building a foundation. If you build a house, you don't have a proper foundation, it does not last for you for very long. They're building a foundation with this squad right now to make sure it lasts for years to come. That's the exact same way it was with Coach Gibbs, and I believe Ron is trying to do the same thing. So if people have listened to me before, believe me, I'm super, super excited about this season because I see the things that they're doing. They have people that are willing to learn, people that are going to do it the right way and listen to what the coach says. And when you have those things in place, success follows very soon.
Yeah, love that, especially just knowing that they are building that strong foundation and it's all going to, pretty much start right here with Coach Rivera and the team that we have, surrounding him to basically live what it is that he's putting out there for the team. And you also mentioned that this is going to be a very different season, and it already is, right? We've literally been surrounded by so much uncertainty with COVID, limited in-person workout, having to meet virtually, no preseason games. So talk a little bit about the importance of the off season and also preseason and how that preparation really helps for the regular season.
Well, that accountability that I talked about earlier, this was very, very prevalent for what they're doing now because you have to depend on everybody. Normally in the off season, the coach gets to see players on a daily basis. And from the OTAs to the mini camps to the training camp, you get to see how guys are proceeding along. Well, now all you did was see them virtually, like we're seeing everybody today, and you don't really know. You're listening to them, but I think eventually now it comes back to Ron being an experienced coach who can see a little bit more than those inexperienced coaches out there. And I believe his mindset, the way that he leads, has been great for this team this year because he basically treats them like men. He said, this is what I expect you to do. And if you do it, you can have success. You can be around here. Just like he told Dwayne Haskins, the things that he wanted Dwayne to do, Dwayne did everything that he said the way Ron wanted him to do it, and even exceeded that. And he ends up getting the starting job. So what I'm just looking for this season, because I saw guys pay attention. I saw guys take it serious. I saw guys go out there and act like, hey, I have ownership in this team and ownership in my position and my success. So I think this is going to be a good season for him, because we have a coach now who holds them accountable and also can pull the best out of the players. And that's all you need to have some level of success.
Definitely that accountability, and then taking their job seriously, right? And so I think that is like so important with any job, but especially us who are, super excited for the upcoming football season. And I can tell you, one person taking his job seriously is Bryce Love. So I had the opportunity to catch up with him earlier this week. An amazing conversation. As you all know, he's Washington football team's running back. He was drafted fourth in the 2019 draft. He graduated from Stanford University, get this, with a degree in human biology, and he was named to the All Pac-12 first team. So smart guy, but he's also taking it seriously. So let's go ahead and just take a listen to the interview that I had with Bryce Love. All right. So hello, Bryce. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy training camp schedule to chat with me today. I really appreciate it. I know that you literally just got off of the field. So how was practice?
It was good. It was good. I feel like we got after it as a team today. I feel like we got better. So, and of course, it's fun to be back out there as well.
I can only imagine, because obviously a lot of the communication up to this point has been virtually. So I know that you've gotten this question a lot, but walk me through what this off season has been like for you.
I feel like our team in the league has done a good job of adjusting to what's going on in the world. As a team specifically, we got after it in the virtual meetings. We're able to kind of do some walkthrough things on that. Be able to put in a lot of the concepts that we have. Beyond that, I was able to go down to Pensacola for a little bit. Then right before everything started happening, I got to come back up here and really focus in on my rehab and things like that.
Yes, so kind of thinking about the entire situation with the pandemic and having to really communicate and get to know your teammates virtually, did you see any positives to that type of environment?
Well, if there can be any, I'd say being able to have everybody, I guess, in their home situations, they can be where they are and still train and be around their family. I'd say that that's a benefit, and they can be rehabbing at a certain place or wherever they might like to train in the off season, and then be able to come back and still be able to attend meetings and not miss out on that information was definitely still a benefit in that regard.
Yeah, and I'm always the type of person that likes to find the positive in every
Yeah.
negative situation. Yeah, so
No,
that's
I
good to
feel
know
it.
that yeah, obviously having to try to make things work. Now, obviously, the family here super excited that we were able to pick you up fourth round in the 2019 draft. Unfortunately, you were on IR last year, so we missed actually seeing you on the field in play. What's it going to be like for you, kind of, finally stepping on the field this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a surreal moment for me. This is a childhood dream, and I'm just excited to be out here, and especially from where I was coming from with the knee injury, and all the things I had to go through to get to this point. I'm feeling good, and with the talks with Coach Rivera, understanding that it's a process, and I didn't get to play last year, and getting back into the football things, it's going to be a process, and you have to embrace that and take time to get back to where you want to be. And so I've embraced that challenge, and I'm happy to be where I am right now.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, you kind of talked about going childhood and this being a childhood dream of yours, and kind of thinking back and taking it back. You used to be a track and field athlete, and not just any athlete, right? Like you were a champion, setting
Mhm.
national records at the National Junior Olympic Track and Field Championships. Talk a little bit about how that life as a track and field runner has really set you up for where you are today.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it kind of laid the foundation. Um, that was something that I really enjoyed doing, and my dad got to coach me out there. The track team that we had in that area had a lot of talent too, so we were able to go out there and compete each and every day. And it was good to learn the techniques. I did a lot of track stuff in the rehab as well, getting back to the running fundamentals. Picking up your feet, putting them down, getting your stride, picking up your stride, things like that. And it's good to have that as a basis, and it's good to have that as a foundation for where I am right now.
Yeah, and I bet it was kind of cool, first of all, having your dad by your side. I know for me, it was amazing
Yeah.
having him at every single track and field event. But I have to say, I'm a little jealous because I was cross country, long distance, middle
Uh,
distance running, but you were fast, like 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter. Totally jealous about your speed. Yeah, and not only, obviously the physical aspect of your body, but also like nutrition and the mental side of things. So
oh
where
yeah,
you all
yeah.
make sure that you are a well-rounded player, because sometimes people just kind of look at you and you admire the athleticism, as we should, but there's so
Mhm.
much more to what you all are doing off the field to get ready to be in top shape for the field.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a big thing of just playing the sport. It's so much that goes into what people see on Sundays, and that's again back to learning from the vets and the things that AP does throughout the week consistently. Getting that consistent habit and the things that CT was doing. Things they were doing in the off season, eating right. Going out, having a lifting schedule, sticking to the plan that they have, adjusting it based on how they feel, just different things like that. A lot goes into it that people don't really get to see, and that's really what culminates in
Yeah.
what you see on Sundays.
Yep, definitely. And, speaking of kind of the off the field as well, just within, the Washington football team, very community centric, like really making sure that we are giving back and supporting the community in which we play. I just the other week participated in a capital area food bank, just volunteer activity. What are some of the things that you are most passionate about when it comes to community outreach and just giving back?
I mean, my big thing is education. Finding different ways to help the community in that way. Let it be book drives or mentorship programs or different things like that. And we've been blessed to be able to be in this position that we are, and it's only right to give back and do the things that we want to do for the people behind us. Because ultimately the younger generation looks up to us, and pushing them to be the different things that they want to be. If they want to be an athlete, but also pushing them to be lawyers, doctors, different things like that. Understanding that you could be so much more than what you might see in your immediate vicinity. So that's my big thing, and I look forward to getting after that down the line.
Yeah, absolutely love that. I know when I was a first lady of football, that was what I was most passionate about, probably military and the kids. So
Yeah.
kids are amazing and their brains work in amazing ways. Is there any particular question that you get asked a lot from children, or maybe a particular question that kind of stands out as something that you're like, wow, that was interesting?
Ah, dang. I mean, I'd say it's just so many different. I mean, just so many different experiences. I'd have to go back to the Stanford days. Working around kids a lot of different times. I mean, always asking, like, am I going to be as big as you one day? Different things like that. But it's kids are a wealth of knowledge as well. How they look at the world, and how optimistic they might look at it, and different things like that, and how curious they are to learn. It's a lot of things that can be applied to us, and how we take it day by day as well.
Yeah, love that. Love that. I mean, and definitely role model on the field and off the field. And, the season is coming up. We're all excited about it. I know that you, your teammates, everyone is ready for it. What can the fans expect from you? What can the fans expect from the offense, from the Washington football team? What does success look
Mhm.
like?
I mean, we're gonna go out there and compete. That's the biggest thing. Play by play, day by day. We're gonna let it all chips fall where they may. But our ultimate goal is to win as many games as we can, make the playoffs, and get to the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate outcome goal for every team right now, and we're working towards that. We understand that it's a long process, and we have a far way to go. But day by day, we can keep getting closer and closer, and we're excited to get after it, and we're excited to go out and compete.
All right. Well, just know that you have a huge fan base, a huge support system, and all of us, day by day, play by play, fan by fan, we are here to support you. So thank you so much, Bryce. We really appreciate you sharing some of your time with us. And we definitely look forward to seeing you out on the field this season. So good luck to you and the entire Washington football team.
Yep, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, great interview with him. Such a warm person. And I have to say, I'm just so excited about the opportunity that he has this year, especially with coming back from a knee injury, taking a redshirt season in his first, his rookie year with us. Brian, as a former running back, you've been in Bryce's shoes. How would you feel if you were him coming into, your second season fully healthy and ready to just make your mark on the franchise?
I don't know if I can be under control like he is because I say coming into the league, I wasn't injured and I was super excited. But to be a guy who was sitting there the whole year and not being able to play, watching your teammates go out there and play, that makes you want to be out there even more. And I think right now also having Ron, who coached Christian McCaffrey, having Scott Turner, who also coached Christian McCaffrey, they understand they have similar abilities. And he can be looking for that too. I'm sure he's excited about this season. And listen, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for him because I've told people over and over again, if that young man is healthy, the things he's capable of doing. He has speed. He can run the ball. He can run it out the backfield. He can catch balls at the backfield. He can split out and line up. He gives a defensive coach nightmares at night, and I can't wait for him to start doing that for our team.
Yes, let's start those nightmares. Love it. I know, definitely can't wait to see him along with everyone else on the field. Now, like Brian and I just want to open it up to you all. This is your VIP reception. If you all have any questions for Brian, there should be a Q&A section, a box right there on your screen. Go ahead and put any questions that you have because we're going to take some questions for you all that are here with us live. I already have a couple in. So Brian, I'm just going to just get started with these. Are there any other players that you expect to stand out on offense this year?
Well, I'm looking for Gandy Golden to look to stand out, and also Steven Sims Jr., a young man last year who I think he made his mark as the season went on, and you saw that. Not only did Dwayne have a rapport with Terry McLaurin, he had one with Steven Sims Jr. Steven Sims Jr. is not that big of a guy, but he has explosiveness. He can tear a game wide open. And then when you look at Gandy Golden, a guy who's about 6'3", he has unbelievable leaping ability, comes from Liberty University, and people look at the college, but I'm looking at the talent. I think this young man has an opportunity to have an advantage, and that's what you're looking for in football. You're looking for guys that have a matchup advantage, and he has that. He has big hands. He has a great radius of catching the ball, and I think Dwayne is going to end up liking him too. So the more of those young players we get, the more explosive I see. And right there with Bryce Love, and then we got Antonio Gibson. They are loaded with a lot of young talent, and I look at that young talent as a future thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, they're so young." Well, I came in my first year. I made my mark. I think these guys can do the exact same thing.
That's right. And then, hopefully, they also have those veteran players there that can help and support them through their growth. So let's go to the next question here. Someone asked, think back to your first regular season NFL game. I know that you said your rookie year, you were so excited, but how were you feeling right before kickoff, right before the action started?
Nervous. Listen, I think everybody get it. I remember Patty LaBelle saying, if you don't get nervous, then it's not important to you. Every game I've ever played, especially that first one, I had butterflies. I didn't know what to do with myself. And guys kept telling me, man, just chill out. It's just football. No, it's not just football. It's something I've been thinking about my whole life. And I was so excited. But to finally get out there and play the game, things began to settle down a little bit. And then, I still got nervous before every game, but I had the opportunity to calm myself a little bit. And I had a coach tell me before, don't play the game before the game. I found that I was playing the game before the game because once the game started, I was tired. So I learned how to pull back that energy and save it so I can use that throughout the football game.
Yeah, and that really is a talent. Being an athlete myself, you will get worked up, and it could definitely, impact your performance in the wrong way. So you definitely need to know how to calm and center yourself in all of the midst of all the hype, and it can be difficult.
That's true.
All right. So now, of course, we claim you, we love you. Burgundy and gold, you are here with us home. But you also played for the Eagles and the Giants. So there is a
Yeah.
question here. Any favorite memories playing with the Eagles?
Favorite memory playing with the Eagles? Yeah. I had a Sunday night football game against the Atlanta Falcons. And when you're 32, I think I was at the time, 32 years old, and people think you've lost a step to end up that game with over 300 yards total offense, it made me realize that I hadn't lost a step. I still had a little bit left in me. And that pushed me. It pushed me to work out even more and make sure I was in shape. The same way I did while I was here in Washington and when I went to New York. I think the thing of it is every athlete wants to know that they still can. And once you find out you have that ability to do it, it pushes you even more. Like a lot of these young guys right now, I'm sure they're questioning themselves because they've been watching the NFL, thinking about the NFL. Now they're in it. So now they have to realize that I'm not just a spectator. I am a participant in this thing. And when they begin to go out there and push themselves even more, they'll find out they can get anything accomplished that they want to get accomplished, just like I did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you proved to them that you were 32 years young, not 32 years old. Hey, it's all mindset, right? So there is, we have a couple more minutes, obviously, for questions. So if anyone has any questions, be sure to put those in the Q&A box on your screen. We do have a COVID-related question. Do you think there is a significant advantage for teams that will have fans in the stadium versus those that won't have fans like us over at FedEx Field?
See, I've been thinking about that because the NFL is always talking about they want an equal playing field, a level playing field. And when I'm looking at some teams may have fans in the stands, I see that as unequal. So I don't know if they're going to allow that to go for the long haul, but it is. I think when you look at the bubble with basketball right now, the guys have said that it's hard to get up a lot. I believe every professional athlete should come into a game ready to play. But you're going to get to those moments where you're going to be lulling, fall into a lull a little bit. You're going to be a little tired. And when the fans start to cheer, that can give you some type of motivation and excitement. So, yes, they may have that advantage. But ultimately, if the team comes out and you can get up on teams, you can take them out of it. That's the whole thing about it. But I think the NFL has to look at that. And I'm thinking, some of these states that they're just going along with things. But I respect the Washington football team for the way that they handle things, things where there's still some spikes in the area. So why put fans out there? Just like you care about the players, you need to care about your fans as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it was like that bittersweet, what do you mean no fans? But then I'm like, well, that makes sense, right? Like we do care for our fans. We have the best fan base ever. So exactly, why put that at risk? So another question here, just personally for you, during the pandemic, how have you kept motivated to stay healthy and active?
Well, actually, around April 12th, I was listening to TV and it said it's going to be the quarantine 15, and everybody in quarantine will gain 15 pounds or more. And I thought I was 236. And I got on the scale, I was 242. And I decided that I'm going to change this. And I started to eat differently. I started riding my bike and doing a lot more walking. And I'm down to 214 pounds at this point. So I try to do about 150 to 175 miles per week on my bicycle. And I'm also trying to eat a lot more healthy. I grew up in Louisiana and I love rice. I love gravy. So I had to back off of rice and gravy maybe just once or twice a week instead of once or twice a day.
Yeah, well, good for you. I mean, putting your health first, that's amazing. And, it's kind of, joke about it, but I've heard the same thing, called like, instead of the freshman 15, the pandemic 15, either you're going to gain 15 or lose 15. So good that you're going in the right direction. All right. It looks like we have one more question for you, if you don't mind. Can you just share who were your favorite players to watch growing up?
Oh, man. My favorite players to watch growing up, Barry Sanders was one of those guys, but I was playing with Barry. But if we go back farther, Walter Payton was a guy who I saw that was this soft-spoken guy, but when he got on the football field, he had this tenacity about him. Wasn't that big of a guy, but he was totally unbelievable. I love watching Jerry Rice, because Jerry grew up in the South and came from a smaller school. So I was kind of attracted to those guys that went to those smaller universities and still went to the NFL and were able to produce. Doug Williams, it was a family friend. So when he got here in Washington, watching him play and watching him perform in that Super Bowl, that was one of the favorite moments of my life because I played quarterback in high school and college and wanted to be a lot like Doug, although I stayed 5'10.5" my whole life. I never grew anymore. But, I love watching those guys like that. But it's just for me, the people on the defensive side of the football, Mike Singletary, I was an offensive player all my life. But I played with the defensive mindset, watching Mike with those eyes, and watching Deacon Jones back in the day with the head slap and things like that. That motivated me to go out there and try to be what I can. God didn't give me 6'5", 280 pounds. He gave me 5'10.5", and I played right around 216 to 220. He gave me enough inside my heart to make sure I could just go out there and get it done. So those guys that play with that intensity, I kind of stuck to them, checking them out.
Yeah, love that. And you know what? God gave you everything perfectly as he was supposed to, and you did a lot with it. So, yeah, I mean, just your record in and of itself, absolutely amazing. Now, I know that I said the last question was the last question, but this is a good one. So I want to get this one in. So who were some of the guys that maybe you did not like playing against during your career?
To be honest with you, it was no one that I didn't like playing against. I think the whole thing about it is outside, when fans look at it, they see how tenacious a guy can be, and they say, I would want to play against that guy. Well, I was the guy that wanted to play against that guy because I think you earn your respect by playing against the best and the guys that are supposed to be the baddest out there. So Lawrence Taylor loved to go against him. Reggie White loved going up against that whole Philadelphia Eagle defense up there. Everybody remember the body bag game. I ended up playing quarterback in that game. When we played against people, when I finally played against Mike and played against some other guys that Charles Haley, those tenacious football players, I wanted to see them, just like I was a small guy who wasn't going to back down, so I guess I put a little doubt in their mind because they're thinking, what is wrong with this little dude that never ever shuts up and always in our faces? I wanted to put my medal against anybody out there. So I wasn't afraid of anybody, to be honest with you.
Yeah, perfect. I know for me, as a cheerleader, I loved and hated when Dallas would come to FedEx Field. It was one of those things where it felt like Christmas if we won, and then it felt like you lost your best friend if we lost. So I would have to say Dallas would be that team where I was emotionally up and down all the time for games. So if you could give us just some final thoughts on the team, the upcoming season, and kind of where you see us going.
Well, I've been pleasantly surprised and enthusiastic and happy about the way things have gone. A lot of these young football players on this team, so many times we always say, well, they have to wait. And I don't believe in that. I believe if you're drafted to play in the NFL, you should have an opportunity to play. And if you go out there and you compete against an older player and you're better than him, you should get that chance. And I think when we look at the way Ron has run his training camp, he's allowed young guys to battle against guys, and then he made his decision based off of who was the best football player. When he was in Carolina, he played a lot of young guys. So I'm happy about that. Because I believe you can't have all old, you can't have all young. You need a delicate balance of the two to go out there and have a lot of success. So I'm looking forward for this team. Dwayne Haskins, I've known him since he was a young kid, came to my football camp, and I doubted that he was a quarterback at the moment, but he ended up being the best quarterback in the camp. I watched Terry McLaurin, who's mature beyond his years. And then you look at Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, and now we have Chase Young coming in. They have all this talent on both sides of the football, and I'm looking for this team to be good, not just this year, not next year. I'm talking about the next 5 to 10 years. That's what you need to try and build, and I think Ron has stuck to that, and he's done it. So for fans out there, I would tell you all, get excited. Because you think back to when Joe Jackson Gibbs came in, this team hadn't been winning, and then all of a sudden they started off the season, then they weren't playing well, and then they hit a momentum swing. And then for the next 10 to 12 years, they were a force to be reckoned with. I expect the same type of thing to happen. I'm not going to sit up here and predict a Super Bowl and all those type of things, but I'm telling you, the foundation that they're building and the base that they're building with the mindset that Ron has instilled in these guys, we're going to have a lot more cheers than we will jeers in the next years to come. So get excited about this football team. We have a lot of young guys, but with the older guys that they kept around are guys that are leaders. Thomas Davis, Ryan Kerrigan, those guys will make a difference in these guys moving forward.
Yeah, love that. And you know what? Love that he is, like you said, not just leaning on the veterans, right? So these rookies have a chance to step up. They have a chance to, take that position. Just recently with former Ohio State defensive end and our, current defensive end with Chase Young beating out a vet for his spot, and recently announced that he now has that starting spot. So it's exciting to know that performance really does matter, and you've got to earn that spot. And that ultimately is what's going to make us a better team in the end.
And I think also guys have to understand, just because you're number one on that depth chart this week, don't get relaxed. Because if you don't perform that week, you could probably be number two the next week. So I just think instilling that constant competition, that's how you get your team to be very good. And I think that's what Ron is doing. And I believe that the guys are responding very well to it. And listen, people always say you take on the personality of your coach. And if you look at Ron and you look at Jack Del Rio, if those players take on those two guys' personality, we're looking for some good stuff happening this year, believe me.
Awesome. Well, I believe you. I'm sure everyone listening believes you. We are, going to be there, rain or shine, watching these games, pulling for our burgundy and gold. I want to thank everyone for joining us and for being such champions for the Washington football team, and especially the charitable foundation, as we look to kick off our season this Sunday. And of course, Brian, thank you so much for joining us and answering all the questions. We really appreciate your continued support of this team as well.
Oh, thank you, GeNienne. And I just want to tell people, listen, get excited about the season. They put a lot of work into this offseason. It's been very, very strange for them, but we need you to get out. But if you don't forget to browse the silent auction presented by Paisanos through the HandBid app or online via the event site. Make sure you go out there, make sure we can raise some money and help everybody out. Take care of yourselves, and we got a lot planned for you, so get ready.
All right. Well, that ends it for us right now, but the main event will be starting in just 5 minutes. So join us, and we'll see you in just a few.